to this video today. This is sort of an impromptu sort of video, but a while back I had put kind of a questionnaire out there on my YouTube channel of like what video you guys kind of would like to see, if it was kind of like a sort of like how-to sort of video thing. So the one that won out was how I do my music videos, and so yeah, that's kind of what I'm gonna just walk you through today, what I do. I've been making these little music videos since I was probably about 14. I started with a little like 2012 Walkman MP3 player to kind of record my voice, and then I just sort of set up my camera. And I remember I didn't have like any kind of like way to gauge how to like lip sync. So some of my first videos were very bad. But I've learned, and I guess that's just how you get better, is by experimenting, and I guess that's just what I've been doing for the past, I'm not even gonna guess how many years that's been, but it's been about a decade.
For years I've roamed these empty halls, live a ballroom with no balls. Finally they're opening up the gates, and just hurry and hallelujah again, just walk away. So how could I dance without love? Here we go to nothing, nothing gospel. Let me down, let me down, let me down easy if you're gonna let me down. Forget about the boy, forget about the boy, forget about the boy.
Anyways, I'm doing these videos, so yeah, I'm just gonna walk you through how I do it. So I always start with my vocals, and I record with this microphone and this headset. It's called Scarlett Studios. It is a pretty decent recording set for like novice beginners, which I still consider myself to be.
The boy has no skills.
But I record using a very old program called Audacity. Again, it's a wonderful program if you're just starting out. You can Google tutorials. This is not going to be a tutorial on how to use Audacity, but what I do is I tend to record my vocals directly into Audacity while listening to my backing track, which I usually get from the internet. Then once I have that isolated vocals, I grab my music from online and I sync it together and make sure that they're completely lined up. That usually takes forever. And then from there I just kind of experiment with effects, clean up the audio as much as possible. If there's any kind of like breathing, you just mute that out. Add random effects. I use a lot of echo, a lot of reverb, quite a bit of compression. Yeah, you just kind of fiddle around with that thing. It's an old program. From there, what I do is I export it as a WAV file, and sometimes an MP3. Then we go to the fun part, which is costumes. I pick costumes. Well, I've been collecting costumes pretty much as long as I've been doing music videos, because I'm a nerd and I love costumes. I have a bunch of older costumes from my great aunt, and they're actually antiques from the 50s and 60s. And whatever the costume is supposed to kind of fit the vibe of the video, and how I get the ideas for the videos are really just very spontaneous, very intuitive, just kind of how the song makes me feel. I do a lot of visualization while listening to music, so if I know that I want to do a video that day, I'll put on the original song and I will just try to copy the sort of video that goes on in my head. Sometimes videos take a very just something that usually my best videos happen, not to brag on myself, my best videos I think happen when they go off tangent. They're not what I actually planned. I usually just go out there with my tripod. I have a generalized idea of what I want to do, and something will just click. I'll just see something that looks right for that music, or a particular lighting that looks really good. And then I'll basically base my whole video off of that. For example, when last year I did one called, oh gosh, what did I do?
One eternity later.
That's All. That's All by Bobby Darin. I did a cover of that, and I had a totally different idea for what I was going to do with that. I was going to have just like a person like lip syncing in black and white, and then what I was going to do was going to interpose a bunch of clips from old films. But while I was experimenting with the lighting, I kind of started envisioning like a French mime. There was a scene from, if you've seen my recent video, 500 Days of Summer, where the character was kind of imagining himself as a French mime. And while I was like experimenting with that lighting, I'm like, I kind of look a bit like a French mime. And from there, an entire storyboard just sort of popped into my head about two clowns, two French mimes from the south of France, who it was kind of like Pepe Le Pew.
Street car because of my desire for.
From Looney Tunes and the cat, and it was the same kind of vibe of that, the black and white sort of somehow connected in my mind to that's what I wanted to do. A French mime who was into this girl and was trying to impress her with a bunch of like magic tricks and just performance and what have you. And that was a video that I was quite proud of, and it happened on the fly, and it was not something that I had tried to do at all. Another thing that I will often do in correlation to the costumes is the lighting. And if I know I'm going to be like the lighting and the setting, depending on where I am. For example, when I did Let Me Down Easy, I knew that I was looking for red and blue colors. The red color was again spontaneous because I was picking up the colors in the room. And in my closet, I had a very striking red dress, and so what I will tend to do is I will come behind the lens of the camera and I'll look through it and I'll see what's in the room, and if there's a particular theme or a particular color scheme that's popping out at me, I will amp those colors up in the room. So I saw the red dress, so I put the red dress out, I put a red guitar out, I mixed in the flooring, and then what I did when I was editing was I used color correction to amp up all the colors. I used some other effects as well, but that was a very similar thing as well when I was out on the ice, because I knew I wanted to film outside and it was wintering out, so I was kind of working within my landscape. And so what I had was blue ice, and so I had like scoped out the landscape the day previously, and I'd seen how beautiful that blue ice was, and so I picked a bluish dress, and thankfully I had some beautiful sun, and so that shot of me on the ice there is one of my favorite shots that I've ever done, because I was able to play with the blue color in the dress and on the ice, and it looked great with the sunshine. And what I did again was color correction, where I took what was already existing and I amped up the colors even higher. So yeah, that's basically it. What I do to get the video, like the lyrics and the video together, is usually I use like a laptop or like another phone to play my music, and then it's really hard. The hardest part usually is the beginning of the video, because what I do is I tend to start my music and then I have to run, slide into position, and start to sing or lip sync right when the audio starts. And for many years that has been a pain in the arse to do. When I first got started, I had no way to transport music outside, and so what I would do is I would blare my speaker inside as loud as I possibly could, and then I have a 2-acre property, so I would run the length of my property to get where I wanted to be, to hopefully sync up the audio and the visual together. I have since improved that system. But yeah, that's generally it. I stand in front of a camera. I try different angles, and I lip sync. Sometimes I do sing with the audio. I try. If you're just starting out, I would definitely suggest lip syncing, because when you start to sing with the audio, you don't necessarily hear the audio when you're singing. So sometimes it can be a little bit messy trying to sync up those things. And then from there, once I got it all filmed, I shove it onto my video program. The video program that I use is called VideoPad. It again is another one that generally, it's novice, but it's good. Yeah, and I take the audio and I sync it up with the visual, and I throw on a bunch of effects, color correction. If you can see my later videos, you can see how much I've kind of been just dabbling with effects and playing with that, and been happier with the videos that I have been spewing out recently. And yeah, once that's done, I export it and I upload it on YouTube, and that's pretty much my whole process. Yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this little video. Not really a tutorial, just a kind of behind the scenes sort of vlog as to what I do and how I make my music videos. Thank you for being here in this community, and it's fun. It's really cool to share my artwork here, and it's really great to hear feedback from all you guys and just have this artistic platform. I have been trying to do several music reaction videos. Unfortunately, YouTube is blocking them at the moment, so I will see how many of those I can get out to you in the coming weeks, but it really all has to do with YouTube either allowing it or blocking it. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this particular small little spontaneous vlog of how I make my music videos. Okay, take care. Goodbye.